you want some water or do you want a Tenzing?
Oh, it's something.
Yeah?
Can you open it for me? Because my
go on.
nails.
Check that out.
They are jewels, not tools.
How many shows have you done this summer? Do you even know?
Well, I did have a little count up over the summer, and it was 60 shows this summer. Last year for the whole year was 103, which was one more than Dom Dollar. So in 2020, I basically had like a nervous breakdown. I just had an absolute meltdown. I couldn't work out what was reality and what was normal. Yeah, I am struggling a little bit. Yeah, I am struggling a little bit. So you just do what you do to get through it, you know. I said I wasn't going to cry.
You can see how busy life must be for you, and I appreciate you sharing that.
I think I've felt like this for so long. I don't know how to feel any other different, you know.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the support so far on this project. It means the absolute world to us.
However, we've noticed that around 75% of you who listen and watch the show haven't yet hit the subscribe or like button.
So in order for this community to grow and allow us to build this project, we have a small request from you.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app that you're listening on or watching this show. Your commitment... What were you laughing at? I did a really good job, didn't I? Right, do another one. Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're watching or listening this show. Listening this show.
Remember to smile.
I'm always smiling.
You weren't.
Was I not? Stop it. Kelly's fucking waiting for us
Come on.
outside, bro.
Composed. Right, let's do it.
Please hit the subscribe or like button on the app you're listening to or watching this fucking show. Right, come on, just one more. Please hit the subscribe or like button. Your commitment is our commitment.
Let's do this.
Fuck off, come on, more.
Yeah, I'm not going to cheeseball it up, but I'll go, let's do this.
That'll do.
Maybe for 19 degrees and it's cold there and the
What
light
is it?
is -1.
What's the temperature on a night now, Olivia?
Like 12. And then it'll
That's
go...
pretty hot. I thought it was
it'll-
colder than that.
As we get into December, January, it'll go down to like 8s, 9s in the evening, and then during the day it'll be like 14, 15, but it's not like here. And the minute there's a bit of frost, it's like, yeah, your trains are cancelled.
Yeah, exactly.
Bullshit. Do you want some water or do you want a Tenzing? What would you like?
I'll have a Tenzing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's probably the best one.
Mint,
Mint.
pineapple, and passion fruit.
Can you open it for me? Because
Yeah,
my
go on.
nails.
Check that out.
How am I surprised?
They are jewels, not tools.
There you go, darling.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cheers, doll.
Are we rolling, George? We're in.
We're in.
Oh, straight in. We're going cans?
We're in.
Probably better. We don't talk over the top of each other then. Sam!
1, 2, 1, 2.
Welcome. How you doing, mate?
Good.
Do you know the last time we saw each other? I just checked my messages. Do you remember?
No.
It was when you played a festival not far from mine. 2021, September 2021.
Oh, wow.
Me and Eleanor came to see you. We saw you
Oh,
backstage.
One Out Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just over 3 years ago.
Bloody hell.
Fucking flown over.
Hasn't it?
And a lot has happened. So, how you doing?
I'm good.
Where have you just come from? You've just literally got in. I know we have to do a bit of a short episode today because Sam's got to fly off to the defected studios to jump in the studio this afternoon. But
Sauce, never ending. Never ending.
how you doing? You good?
Yeah, good. Yeah. Good.
How's your summer been?
Just, I'm like flat out, absolutely flat out. But best summer ever. Yeah, just leveled up on all levels, really.
Yeah. Ushuaia this year. Was this
Ushuaia.
first year for Ushuaia defected? Or was it last-
Well, second year actually.
Is it?
Second year, yeah. I was resident there when it first opened in. You have to fact check me on that one. But yeah, I
2010.
think so. Yeah.
Because I stayed there the year before it opened. So I was just there as a punt. I was 19, 18, 19. First time in Ibiza, and we stayed in that hotel, which was just it was like part of like a really cheap chain.
Yeah.
And we went back the next year and stayed in Bossard down the road. And me and the lads were like, let's go back there because it's got this sick pool. We'd be able to go and just grab a few drinks. And we walked in, they were like, where's your bands? And we were
Yeah.
like, what do you mean, bands? We looked up and saw like ants and stuff. We're like, oh, fucking hell, this is a Shrier.
Yeah.
So it was 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a resident when it first opened, but it still felt the same. It's still got the same vibe. It's still got loads of the old crew still there. So, yeah.
But first year for Defected though, right?
First year for Defected.
Yeah. And how was it?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Really, really good. I
Huge
felt like I should have just moved out there for the summer because I was getting like the 6 a.m. on a Tuesday every morning. And,
flight out.
Yeah, flight out every
It's
Tuesday.
a day party. When we were at
Yeah.
Eden, it was the night party, right?
Yeah.
So
And I would fly straight back after my set as well. So I was literally in and out.
Wow.
Yeah.
every
week.
time.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Just wanted to get home.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get home because I'm just away. Like, I think in the summer I was only home for maybe 1.5 days at a time at home. So like you get in, you unpack, you wash your clothes, you pack, and you're just back out on the road again.
Yeah.
So yeah, just anything to make my life easier now. 25 years DJing, 10 years solid touring.
Is that what it is? 25 years.
Yeah, 25 years next year. Yeah.
Let's
I
actually.
know it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
She's like Denny. Every time I
Like
see her, she
Denny.
looks younger.
Time capsule.
we had Denny and Dee Ramirez in last week, and every time I see Denny, I'm like, what fucking moisturiser do you use? He looks younger every time I see him.
I had
You
to
don't
ask
see
him because that picture was from 2002 at Good Grief, and I was like, hey, baby Facebook. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so 3 years since I've seen you, and so much has happened. But I'm still seeing you smashing it. I've saw some good releases come out from you recently as well.
Yeah.
So production seems like you've leaned into production a little bit more.
I have.
Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, for me, I was just like, you know me, I always champion other people's records and obviously have my own record label as well and champion up emerging artists.
Yeah.
But for me, like the pleasure and the joy that I get out of playing other people's records, I was like, why am I not doing this for myself? Because I've always kind of known myself as a remixer, I guess, like more remixing garage records, but playing a lot more bigger main kind of headline stages now as well. It's like I just want that big kind of euphoric moment. So yeah, I'm just hitting it hard in the studio and just trying to get that kind of one record that just gives you goosebumps and rather than playing everyone else's, which is great. But yeah, I mean, nothing beats having that moment and that feeling when you're playing your own records. So
There's nothing that beats it. Like, and you can knock on that door for ages and you're making tunes and rolling them out and you're trying testing them out at gigs, and sometimes they hit, but it's not quite it. But when you get that record which just bangs, and then you see other people supporting it, or maybe Sam plays it on her radio show like happened for me, and then you see Fisher playing it or whatever, and then people start hearing it more, and then they start wanting that record when you're out. That's a different feeling. But I've seen your production started to really ramp up, so that's good to see.
yeah.
Yeah. But how many shows have you done this summer? Do you even know?
Well, I did have a little count up over the summer, and it was 60 shows this summer because I started working out. I've got this app called the Flighty app now, which is amazing.
What's that?
A-Track's manager put me onto it.
Okay.
So you basically, before you fly, you put the flight number in, and then it tells you if it's delayed, or like quite a few times this summer, I've just been sat at home for like 10 hours just waiting for my flight to come up. But it also logs how many times you've been around the world, how many hours you've lost in delays, and it tells you how many flights.
I don't think I want to know
I'm
that.
quite obsessed. I've got like OCD with like flying and schedule. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like, oh my God. And then I was just, obviously in your wallet, it shows all your boarding passes. And I kind of get a bit of a buzz off seeing all of them.
I'm getting a bit of low-key anxiety just thinking about that. Like,
But I just like to know, A, how much time I've wasted in airports.
Yeah.
And to, just, you're never going to get that time back. So I just try and, when I'm at home, I'm like, I'm present. And yeah, rather than being stuck in an airport. But yeah, I think it was 60 shows this summer. Last year for the whole year was 103, which was one more than Don Dollar.
Was it?
Yeah.
103 shows?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to Af about this, remember, last season, and he was saying, I said, how many shows have you got usually in the summer? And he's like, sometimes it's 12 in a month, sometimes it's like 10, 12, sometimes it's like 16, 18.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It never got that busy for me, but his demand in South America is like huge, especially in the summer, some months. But like for you, I see sometimes you put your schedule out and I'm just like, fuck, she's still going at it. But you're doing it the right way. And I think, I don't know what your journey like is now based on when we last spoke, but when I last saw you, but you were definitely going down more of a sobriety route.
Yes.
I don't know where you are now with that, but
I mean, it's kind of like it's on and off for me. So in 2020, I basically had like a nervous breakdown, and from taking so many shows and never being able to say no. And then you're drinking every weekend, you're partying every weekend. And it got to the point when clubs were actually shut and I physically couldn't go out on the road. I just had an absolute meltdown. I couldn't work out what was reality and what was normal. And it just all came crashing down on me. So I got myself a life coach and started slowly to go sober. So I did like 100 days just before, I think in 2019, and it was a game changer for me. Like I did my first US tour completely sober, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm actually getting up in the morning, I'm being a tourist and doing all these cool things. And because when you're hungover, I've got this thing where I don't even like leaving my house, let alone the hotel, unless I physically have to go to the airport, physically have to go and do a show. And I just struggled with it for so long. But I think when that all came crashing down, I was like, I really actually need to do something about this now. And getting myself a life coach was just the best thing ever. So I kind of toyed that this year I've fallen off the wagon a little bit, as in I went to Asia in tour in February and I had like a couple of shots, and my husband said to the promoter, was like, give her another shot, she'll play another hour. And I was literally, it's the first time that I played an extended set in so long. And whether it was because I was in the vibe, whether it was because I had a couple of tequilas, who knows, but I was in the vibe and I was like, God, I'm really enjoying DJing again. So I haven't been as strict with myself this year for sure, but I'm definitely way more wary of what I'm putting in my body now, because it has such a big effect on me during the week of not feeling motivated, not feeling productive. So it's a battle. It's a weekly battle, it's a daily battle, but something that I'm very much aware of and very much on this path of. I'm not going to say that I'm not ever going to drink ever again, but it would be nice to see what that looks like. So that's what I'm striving towards.
Yeah, wicked. There's a few things that resonate with me there, which reminded me of you, which is the daily battle, one day at a time. Yeah. And awareness. She said awareness. So it's about being aware of that and not just diving into those impulses, which you get all the time, especially when you're someone like Sam, who's in the booth and everyone's there to see you and everyone's enabling you. There's this enabling behaviour and it's from the top down. Like if your managers and agents sometimes around you, or managers and agents of other DJs or other artists, they're all on it and they're having fun, and then the people in the crowd are wanting to buy you a shot, and the promoters go and have a shot, and the after party's here. But when we've spoke ad nauseum about this, because you've kind of gone through this 12-step program.
Yeah. Well, being in recovery now, for me, what stands out there is boundary setting as well. A lot of the time you don't realise, particularly when you're busy and you're active, obviously, in that industry like Sammy's as well, and you'll relate to it. And Roger said it as well, to be fair, that you have to have a boundary to say no, because I'm thinking about what my next gig's going to be like. How am I going to perform? How am I going to be?
This episode is powered by Tenzing, the all-natural energy drink made with plants, not a science lab. It's clean, sustainable energy made with none of that dodgy stuff you find in other energy drinks. Now, let me tell you what happened when I got a delivery of their new flavour, Fiery Mango. Big crate arrives, I am buzzing, thinking I've got a load of cans to see me through the winter. I open it, one can. Turns out my wife nicked the rest. To be fair, I can't blame her. The Fiery Mango is banging. Juicy mango with a fiery kick of ginger and cayenne pepper. Basically sunshine in a can. And it's not just about the taste. 100% of your daily vitamin D, magnesium for vitamin D absorption, lion's mane for mood and focus, and 160 milligrams of caffeine to power you through the crash. So whether you're working, at the gym, or just surviving that 3 p.m. slump, Tenzing Fiery Mango has you covered. And listeners of this show get 30% off. Just head to tenzingnaturalenergy.com and use the code BEAR30. That's BEAR30 for 30% off. Fire up your winter with Tenzing Fiery Mango. But seriously, hide your stash.
And it's very easy in life, in circles that we're in, to just go, yeah, go on, I'll just have a drink or whatever. So I think the key thing is having boundary setting, and then when you're doing your gigs and you're doing it sober and you're going through life sober, all of a sudden you realise, I'm thinking faster, I'm thinking quicker, my energy levels are up. my career seems to be going in the right direction. So I think, boundary setting was a big one for me. The very first time I said no to my friends, they were going Culver Santa, an event was on, and I just went, no, I'm not going. And my mate went, are you all right? I was like, yeah, I'm not going. I don't need to
I remember you telling me about this, actually.
Yeah.
You were really surprised at their reaction when you just gone wanting to say, I don't want to go.
It's a slippery slope, isn't it? It's such a slippery slope. For me, I couldn't say no for years, whereas now I can be in a green room, I can be in a club environment. All my friends know the drill. I drive myself to all my shows now in the UK.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got a choice. You haven't got a choice then. That's almost like you're setting that physical boundary. You're not going to leave your car and fucking get a taxi. Yeah.
But then all the battle is when you get home. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm at home now. So, but I've got really better at doing that as well. It's just, it's such a work in progress. And it's something that if you had told me the headspace and the mindset that I'm in now of actually being aware, because when you're an addict, when you're an alcoholic, you don't want to admit to anything because it's like, well, all my friends do it, or they're doing it and they're fine and they've got, a really high paid job and they're really successful. So, everyone around me is doing it. But it's actually like when everything comes crashing down on you, it's like, well, what is your journey? Because you're looking from left to right and sometimes no one's either side of you. And I always want to look forward and be the best version of myself. So just having this awareness, it also can bring up a lot of trauma that's happened in your life as well, if I'm being sober and you having to go through that trauma. Like right now I'm dealing with, grief. So trying to stay on a good path and not go down that road again because I've always self-medicated for many, many years. So what does now going through grief and the pain and heartache that I'm going through, trying to stay on this narrow path, and that's quite a big struggle at the moment for me.
That's the conversation I had with my mum and sister, innit? I was telling you on the training here, speaking to them, because my dad passed away in 2020 during COVID. He was like not even 60. He was about to be 60. So it happened suddenly. So being in recovery and being clean and sober for a number of years now, it's like peeling back the layer of the onion. So like you said, there's certain things that were a traumatic event that come up and you have to process it without going to grab a drink, which is normally what you do. Come on, let's go down pub, let's have a drink, let's go out. And we want to push these things to the back of our mind. So yeah, you're definitely right with what you're saying there. You've got to work through it. And that's what I was going to say to you, Sam, as well. From afar, if we zoom out, when I'm looking at what you're doing in particular this year, your gigs are going from strength to strength. Obviously, you playing at Ushuaia and then getting the House DJ award as well.
Yeah, big up for
and
that.
You even just said now that you drive into your own gigs. How are you managing all of this now, this intensity in your life, and getting married this year as well?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's literally been like a funeral and 2 weddings this year.
Wow.
And an award on that. I am struggling a little bit. Yeah, I am struggling a little bit. So you just do what you do to get through it,
Well, Liz, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. And it's okay to talk about it, because from afar, from me, when I'm looking at your Instagram and I'm looking at how inspiring you are, Jordan Peak was on here as well, talking about how much you advocate, and you said it earlier as well, with his music, and he really, really related to the impact that you're having on his career. But it's okay to share and talk about these things, because when I look from afar, I look back when I got married in 2018, I had my business with 550 staff. My dad was in hospital. My father-in-law was in hospital, and I was putting a brave face on and I was telling everybody I was all right. That's all come in this past 2 years for me, where I've had to talk about it and deal with it. So it's great that you're reaching out, because I can see how busy life must be for you, and I appreciate you sharing that,
Yeah. I think it's just also just being busy, but also the noise is busy as well,
Yeah.
I said I wasn't going to cry.
Oh, listen, that's what we're here for.
Thank you.
And even you getting here today, Sam, that's a big rush. And I want to take this moment to thank you as well for you squeezing that in. I was getting a train yesterday from Manchester, and my first train, the train before me got cancelled, the train I was on got cancelled. And then the next train that they put me on, thankfully went ahead, but every other train got cancelled. And I went to message you, and I didn't want to cause Jacky any anxiety. So I was like, I'm not going to send that. I'm just going to pray. And anyway, my train went. So yeah, I want to thank you for coming down, Sam, and squeezing that in and opening up about that. And if there's anything that, we can do to stay in touch and help each other out, then by all means, do you know what I mean? I appreciate you being vulnerable and talking about that.
It's one thing that we try to to open up about on this show is it's okay to be not okay.
Yeah.
It's being, what do we say? Being comfortable, being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And
I think I've felt like this for so long. I don't know how to feel any other different. You know?
You've gone through a lot. You've gone through a lot, Sam, because I know you've obviously, you've gone through everything the last few years and then got remarried. It seems like almost, it's like it's one extreme to the other. You've got these highs, extreme highs, and then extreme lows.
Yeah, it feels very manic, you know. It does feel very manic, and I've been doing a lot of journaling recently and just kind of writing down how I feel in that moment, whether it's sad or really high. Because like when I won the the best house DJ award in Ibiza this summer, I didn't really, obviously I felt a sense of proudness. But I was like, where's the excitement? I was like, how high has the celebration got to be for me to feel something, you know? And that's what I felt, just feel quite numb.
Does the journaling help, do you think? Does the journaling help you in that thought process?
Yeah, it does. And I've started to write, lyrics out of records in it now. So I just hope I can kind of hand my notebook to someone and just be like, tell me what's wrong with me, or put that into a song. So yeah, I guess it's like you said, just feeling quite just grieving.
Yeah, but that's a process. We've talked about, how many guests have we had on here which have been through a very similar story. We had Lloyd affected. Lloyd
was
his father.
Same thing. He never asked for help.
No.
And then when he did ask for help,
he reached out to George. Actually, he reached out to George Pritchard in a moment where he was in need. And then we had obviously yourself. We've spoke about that, and someone else as well. But we remember one week we had 2 people who'd lost friends that week.
Yeah, that week.
Yeah, and just this grieving process, it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
And you're doing something quite high pressure. You're in the public eye. You're up there performing for people who have maybe waiting to see you for 6 months. You've got all these things going on whilst trying to. Yeah, it is pressure.
Yeah, it's what Sam was saying then though. That's the mountain analogy that I give you when I moved to Ibiza. Oh. I was pushing for this goal and I was pushing to get to this place. And when I got to Ibiza, it was not like what Sam was saying about how high does the excitement have to be. It wasn't, being at the top of the mountain wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
And then I've learned it's the journey of what you do and then obviously how you do it. But when you're dealing with trauma and grief and all these things, and you're trying to work, and what Sam said, journaling's unbelievable because there's so much power in just writing stuff down and writing about how you feel and talking. Like I burst into tears with my mum and sister the other day and I had to have that conversation with them. My dad passed away 4 years ago, but I needed to tell them that I wasn't all right. And that emotion that was still there from then just went poof and came out. And afterwards I felt better for it. So yeah, definitely keep journaling, keep sharing, and good on you, Sam, as well, getting a coach and reaching out, because that's all support, that's all help, that's all positive. Do you know what I mean?
I have somatic therapy once a week now. So that's helping with, we do sound healing and working all on the nervous system. And I just think I'm just learning so much about my moods as well. Of like when I'm high, I'm like really manic, but my base level used to be down here and my base level was here, so I'm always trying to keep it above that now and what that looks like. And obviously, everyone falls off the wagon every now and again, and I've just got to manage that better, I think. So yeah, having therapy and just working on myself and still really loving what I do as well. I still wake up and think, oh my God, I'm so blessed to be doing this. And I look at my diary and like you said, you might look and go, oh my God, how is she doing that? I'm like buzzing.
Oh, wicked.
I still love it. I still love it because it's not actually the standing up there on stage for those 2 hours is my release, but it's actually where my career has taken me, all the different countries, meeting all these amazing, like-minded, beautiful souls. And that's what I get my rocks off from that now. So
it was nice to see you get the award as well for somebody who used to DJ at Hush in the back of the West End. And how important Ibiza is to you. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
The high will 100%. Come for that later on, Sam, definitely. Like, fair play to you. For somebody watching from afar, I was like, that's class, that line. You know what I mean? What a story.
It brings a lot of reflecting when those things do happen for you, So this year has definitely been about reflection. I lost my mum in March, so I've been doing a lot of, been doing a lot of just reflecting, and also just, having that gaping hole of something missing, that one person that loves you unconditionally, that one person in the whole world that loves you no matter what, and you only get one mom. So to have her not around anymore, that I'm really struggling with that.
The therapy thing I think is important to talk about, and I want to again thank you for mentioning that. I actually don't know what somatic therapy is though. What is that?
It's somatic healing.
Yeah.
Mish does it, so it's kind of like just releasing like different parts, energies and layers and stuff. Yeah. Mish she was doing it herself, but it's good to go and see. And there's another one, Bowen therapy as well, which is pretty good.
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
I've had some therapy this year, and one thing I don't know whether you can relate to this or you is when I came off. I can't remember how many sessions I had, but I remember coming off, and one of the things that I struggle with, especially this year, is compassion for myself. And I had to it was almost like homework. It was like in those moments where, we all beat ourselves up. Our inner critic is the worst. You wouldn't speak to your worst enemy like you speak to yourself sometimes. I'm talking about myself, my personal experience, but I didn't know how to be compassionate to myself in those moments, like where I'd fuck up or I'd mess up. And I was like, I can't. I actually had this block of being able to be nice to myself. And it wasn't through grief. It was just from, again, maybe past trauma or childhood stuff or whatever it was. And just therapy's helped. And I don't think there's anything wrong with with reaching out and asking for help. We spoke to Lloyd about this, and, I think there's something in our culture where people are afraid to almost let people know that they're not okay. And this is another reason why we're doing this show, is because,
100%.
Being vulnerable is okay. You can work through it. Even if it's not a therapist, speak to a friend.
Being vulnerable is sexy nowadays, isn't
It is.
Vulnerable is being sexy.
I never thought of it like that, Sam, but I'll fucking take it.
We might have a new strapline for the pod there. Me and Jack being vulnerable, being
Speaking
sexy.
to inspiring humans, being vulnerable is sexy.
Yeah.
With the manicure emoji.
With these.
Definitely.
No, but again, I just want to thank you for opening up about that.
Of course, yeah. It gets me. It does get me sometimes. Like sometimes it chokes me up where I can't speak, and other times I can be like, I'm, as cool can be, because it's still quite raw. But just trying to navigate and still, I found that music has actually been such a big healer for me. And as soon as I got the news, I was actually on my way to a 5-week tour in South America, and I got the news when I was on the plane. And I only actually took 2 weeks off and went back to work, and everyone was so kind, and they were giving me notes and saying, "Oh, sorry about your mum." And it was lovely. Whereas if someone says now that I haven't seen for ages in a club and goes, "Sorry about your mum," I'm like, not now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm focused now, so I'm kind of like pushing everything to the side till I find a safe space so that I can be sexy and vulnerable, So it's it's a work in progress, right? But just give me all the therapy sessions.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying right now,
100%. Well, let's move on to something more current for you now. What's going on? You got the winter now, shows, gigs, tours. Where you at? What you doing? What's exciting?
Well, I'm just excited to rest my bones now. I've just been like,
That's good to hear.
So flat out, and before I just keep going and going. And my Q4 has actually been a lovely Q4. I've had I played in Liverpool on Saturday, which was nice. I was home all weekend. I've got Budapest next weekend. I had Poland the weekend before, and then I've got some time off and going on my honeymoon to Barbados.
How long for?
8 days.
Oh, nice.
Can't wait. I've not had a holiday since 2021.
Yeah, everyone thinks DJs are on holiday all the time.
I have loads of working holidays.
Yeah, but they're not.
I have one of them every week.
Yeah, but that's not a holiday. Especially if you're flying to Ibiza to fly back. You're not on holiday then, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, nice.
I mean, Matt and I, my husband, we do have a good lifestyle outside of DJing as well. He loves fine wine and nice hotels, and I'm like, hey, I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the ride.
Bit of you that.
Yeah, so it's really cool because he'll look at the diary and go, okay, well, we're here for a week, let's stay on another few days and chill. So yeah, that's been a game changer, because normally I'll just be in, out, in, out. So I'm just trying to get that work-life balance. You know, I'm a stepmommy now as well. So
How's that going?
amazing.
Yeah?
I absolutely love it. Yeah,
Mint.
I'm obsessed with her. She's just turned 15, and then the eldest Lily, she's 21. She lives with us as well. So yeah, I'm really loving being a stepmom, because I hated kids before. My friends have kids and be like, ugh, but now they're all getting a bit older. I'm like the cool Auntie Sam, which is cool. But yeah, I think it's softened me a little bit as well, because I always thought like, oh my God, I'm like the ice queen, you know. If you're not in my clique, I don't really, you know, venture outside of that. So yeah, the kids have definitely melted me now. I'm not so much the ice queen. But yeah, just having time with the family really, and going back to Western and seeing my dad and my friends, and just kind of just taking a breath. You know,
good.
because it's just
100%.
100 miles an hour all the time, and that's what makes me ill as well, when I'm just always on the go. You know, now I'm like, oh, I've got to, you know, my back's aching, but that's, you know, because that's not from partying, and that's because I'm just sat on planes all the time. So it's actually opened up another I was never into my health, never cared about my health. I would just keep going or drink over the top of it. Whereas now I'm like writing a list. Oh my God, I need to see the dentist, or I need to sort my ears out. I need to sort this out. And I've got like a list of health problems that I need to sort out. Whereas I'm like, right, 2025 for me is about health. Everything else can wait.
Mint.
And
Yes.
I'd never thought about putting myself first before. So
Do you think that's through what you've gone through in terms of the laws, like this transition, or do you think it was through? But for me, the lockdowns really changed my perspective on health.
Yeah.
You know what I was like before. It was a downward spiral for me. But when I had to stop in the house and go, all right, what the like reevaluate everything.
Yeah.
You kind of take stock of what's going on. Which do you think it was for you, or maybe a mixture of
I think
the
a mixture of both. I just think when you're in this toxic relationship with yourself, you know that you're hurting yourself. You know you shouldn't be doing the things that you're doing, but no one's there to tell you, or people are telling you, but you're not listening. You're just literally just in this constant rut of because now you're just self-medicating and you're numbing yourself, but you feel like you're healing, and you're just in this constant rut. And until you break out of that, for me, it was meeting my husband, right? I've never known happiness like it. I thought I was not deserving of happiness. I thought that the toxic relationship that I was in, not only with my partner at the time and myself, which is the biggest toxic relationship, was with myself. I thought that was normal. I normalized it. Maybe because I'd watched my mum go through that, and, you know, other family members, and you just feel like that's normal. And then when you know, I got myself my life coach. I've got a really good team around me. I met my husband, and things started going off in my head. I was like, oh, wow, this is life. Now I don't need to go down that path. I've got this path. Let's just see where it takes me. And actually, although obviously I'm grieving, I'm probably the most happiest that I've ever been in my life, physically, mentally. There's still lots more work to be done, but like, again, it's just having that awareness and not putting too much pressure on yourself, being kind to yourself, saying, okay, well, I've got that, I'll write that down. That's, you know, that's in my journal, and I can go back to that. Whereas instead of just pushing it out and just drinking more and, you know, all that good stuff, like, it's night and day, the person that I am 4 years ago to what I am now.
I have to say, just being sat with you now, even if it's for a short period of time, your demeanor's different. I think we both have a little bit different for 4 or 5 years ago.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you. You too. But I just feel the energy that you've got is much more calm.
Calm. Yeah, I do feel calm. I feel like I've been working on that inner peace and forgiving myself, you know, because
that's compassion again.
Yeah, but you know, and it took me a long time to have, like, you know, what you were just saying about having compassion for yourself, because I didn't like myself very much. I didn't like the person that I'd become. I didn't like the person that I was, and then you attract toxicness, you attract negativity until you're just. I was speaking to my therapist the other day, and he was like, it's like you're a ghost, and when you're trying to reach out for or to fulfill yourself, all you're doing is you're putting it in, and it's just going in and in and nothing is fulfilling you. And that's what I felt for a really, really long time, where small things fulfill me now. Just opening up my blinds in the morning and looking out at, you know, the nature puts a smile on my face. You know, it's like the little things now that give me so much joy. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Oh,
You can tell Sam's definitely, and credit to you, you've got a handle on things even through this turbulent time. And again, my condolences with losing your mother. I can definitely relate to that. And it's a progress, and it's a peeling back the layers of the onion over a period of time. But you seem to me like you're doing all the right things for you and putting yourself first. So enjoy your holidays, Sam, and enjoy that bit of time out, because you definitely deserve it. Yeah, you definitely deserve it. And
Not read a book in 20 years.
Well, that brings us on to this. Well, before we present this, actually, I just want to say it's lovely to see you.
And you.
And I also want to say thank you for your support when I was in the industry. You were one of my biggest champions. Right through, as soon as I got signed to Defected, my first DFT released. I remember the first instance where Sam really showed the true colours to me, because I was playing my first ever big show in Ibiza. It was after MK. And no one said anything to me. I was up there, I didn't really know anyone. And she came up to me, I was ready to put my USB in, and she came up and said, she grabbed me and she went, "You all right? You good? Ready? Ready for this?" Like, you trying to support me. No one else fucking said anything. And I was like, "Yeah, I am." She went, "I'm here." And she stood there for my first couple of mixes and just waited. And from that moment on, you really, really stood by me. And I really appreciate that, Sam. So thank you.
Well, I see good talent, and you're amazing. And I love that you have taken your negative experiences and positive ones and put it into this, because this has really helped me today as well. So, and I've loved watching your podcast. It's like my little go-to when I'm scrolling.
Lovely to hear.
I think it's amazing what you guys are doing, and especially with your recovery but all of us, we're all in recovery, really. I think it's a never-ending journey, and it's really good to be around like-minded people. So thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you,
Big
Sam.
love.
Well, anyway, we have a feature on this show. It's called Pass the Book. And
Okay.
the previous guest leaves a book for the next guest, not knowing who it is. So this book was left by Martin Eichen.
Oh, I love Martin.
Yeah.
And he has just bought this book. And so he didn't have a one-liner as to why, but he said, "I've just bought this book. I've read the first page, and I really think someone else should read it." So it's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and it's one of our favourite books as well.
Thank you so much.
And it's quite apt at the moment, isn't it?
If there's a book for Sam to read in Barbados, then that's definitely
be
the
it?
one.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Well, Sam, before we wrap up, I know you've got to get to the studio. Is there
Yes.
anything else you want to talk about? Any plugs, anything at all before we wrap up?
Just no, I think just whatever you're going through, just be kind to yourself and let the feelings wash over you like the tide, because how you're feeling now is not how you're going to feel next week, in a month's time, in a year's time. I think that's the most important thing is just to be kind to yourself.
Perfect.
Give yourself
Beautiful.
a break.
Beautiful.
Give yourself a break.
Thanks, Sam. Thank everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.